As you can tell, I'm a big fan of retro games, specifically retro PC games, and I'm also a big fan of playing games on original hardware. So what do when you've got a load of old PC games and you've got to play them? Well, you could play them on a modern PC. That's a good option. You've got things like DOSBox and compatibility modes that'll get you pretty far. Most games on this shelf will play on my PC over there. Only problem is you've got a certain number of games that just won't run properly, and well, what do? Well, you can run a virtual machine, but they tend to be quite inefficient. Or you can build your own, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So what I'm looking to do is I'm going to build a PC from about 2000, 2001. Reason for that is that's sort of the period where you get these games that won't really run. That's sort of the period where you'll get games that won't really run on modern systems at all. Anything before that you can run in DOSBox because it's all DOS stuff. Anything after that will most likely run either natively or with compatibility. But you've got this little chasm where they just straight up refuse to run. You can patch them all day long, but it just ain't gonna happen. I've been there. Now, the other reason, and it's not just because of games that won't run, it's because, like I said, I appreciate original hardware. I believe it's a major part of the retro gaming experience, is why I have all these classic consoles underneath my television. So, being a PC gamer, it makes sense for me to have a retro PC just for playing retro games on. It's part of the retro gaming experience, as I say. So let's stop messing around and get on with it. The Aptiva is a pretty damn good computer, however, it's not exactly made for what I want to do with it. For example, video games. Let's just take a look at how it does with Doom. It does pretty well, you know, that's a classic game. It does struggle a bit with it's not running a particularly intensive version of Doom, and yeah, it does look a bit weird because it's on my television, but it runs okay. And Jazz 2 also runs fine, but it does struggle a bit if we turn on hardware mode because, of course, the hardware just isn't there. Here I am just changing the resolution up to 640 by 480 in 16-bit, and as already you can see the frame rate's dropped off. It's alright once we get into the game, but you may notice that while it's dark at the start, it does struggle a bit, so it would have problems later on in some of the darker stages. Obviously this one isn't a problem because it's quite bright in there, and by and large it's fine. Now sometimes you'll launch a game and, well, it just doesn't end well. Already you can see the menu stuttering a bit, but it does get a bit worse. Because as you can see, well, there's just literally no 3D objects on the screen at all, they're just not showing up. We can change it to software mode, which does help, but it's still very, very stuttery, as you will see shortly. Menu's a lot better, but once you get into the game, yeah, you can see it's not a great experience. Again, mostly okay, but you can see it does tend to struggle when there's a lot of explosions on screen, so not exactly the best solution. Plus, you've got to play it in software mode then, and it just doesn't look quite as good. Not really what I want to do. Yeah, you can really see there the frame rate issues when it comes to the explosions. So, while I really like this computer, unfortunately we're going to have to replace it if I want to do any serious gaming on it. So, let's take a look at what we're going to be doing. Components! Yeah! These are all sourced from various computers and things I've had over the years. Let's take a look at the motherboards first. So to start with, we've got an Intel AL440LX, which is an interesting little thing. It's released in 1997, and it was the one that I was initially going to go for because I figured, yeah, it's not too old. It's got a few nice features, it's got plenty of expansion opportunities. There's some PCI lanes on there as well as an ISA slot. I think there's 2 ISA slots on there, and an AGP, of course. You kind of need that one. Also, apparently it has an OPL3 chip, but I can't find it, and there's no audio ports on the back, so maybe I've got a different revision. Only problem is, this one is very old. Like I said, it's 1997. I'm aiming for sort of 2001? 2001 for my machine, so this just isn't going to cut it. Maybe in the future I can use it for a DOS machine, but for now, this just isn't going to fly. Next one, this is an MS6385 made by MSI or MicroStar. I believe they're the same thing. So this is an interesting one. This is about the same time, the sort of time frame I'm going for. It's got Pentium 4, 1.5 gigahertz as you can see here, and I can't get the heatsink off, so I can't really put it back in, which is partly, yeah, it's kind of a problem, but we'll sort it out. Now, it's a very, very strong candidate. We've got the old PCI slots there. We've got an AGP. We've also got this very interesting slot. It's a CNR slot, which I've never come across before. I believe it's generally for networking stuff, and you can see we've got a networking card here already in it. That was in the board when I discovered it, when I received it. So that's interesting. That could be good to play with. Now, here's the problem. Instead of using SD RAM like we're all used to, this thing uses RD RAM, which again I've never ever come across before. And this is what it looks like. It's weird. I don't know how much RAM there actually is in there, but ideally I want something a bit more replaceable, and I have got SD RAM just knocking about. Whereas this stuff, yeah, it's not quite as ubiquitous, shall we say. That may be a little bit of an understatement. But you know, it's got everything else, so I might think about it. Anyway, this is the one that I've decided to go for. It's a little bit later than 2000. I think it's 2001. This one's manufactured. It's an Intel D845 GERG2. Yeah, really rolls off the tongue. Again, seems to be from about 2001, maybe 2002. It was in a computer that was originally running Windows XP, but of course we're going to be putting Windows 98 on it because that's cooler. We've got plenty of PCI lanes as ever. Got our AGP, and we've got plenty of I/O on the back. We've got everything we need. USB 2 as well. I think it supports USB 2. And of course we've got SD RAM, which we can actually replace if anything goes wrong. I'm going to take this bit out though because I think there's a gigabyte in there, and I don't want a gigabyte of RAM. I will point out it does take a Pentium 4, but it's not quite the same as the one in the MSI one. This is a 2.66 gigahertz Pentium 4, which is massive. Anyway, on to further peripherals. We have here some graphics cards. To start with, let's have a look at this NVIDIA TNT2 M64. This is one that I bought specifically to put in my Aptiva before discovering that my Aptiva wouldn't take an AGP card. Part of the reason why I'm building a new computer. It's orange, which is pretty cool. It is rather old, this one. I believe it's from 98, 99. So maybe, maybe not. Here's another strong contender. This is a pretty good bet. This GeForce 2 MX200. It's from early 2001. Came with that motherboard, so... Or did it come with the other one? I can't remember anymore. But it's a good bet, and I will just say as well, it's got an S-video output, so that means I can record it easier. Now here's a Radeon 9200. It's a lot later than what I'm aiming for, 2003, so I'm less inclined to go for it. I will just mention that it does have a composite output, which again could be good for recording, but S-video is generally a bit crisper. And finally, no, I'm not using this one. It's an NVIDIA Quadro 4. I just wanted to show it off because I've got it. Might use it in another build sometime and just play around with it, but yeah, that one's just not suitable for gaming at all. Briefly touch upon the hard drive. We've got the Hitachi Desk Star. Hitachi can't really go wrong with. It's a pretty good bet from September 2005, so that's much later. But whatever, it's a hard drive. 82 gigabytes should do me fine. I was tempted to use an SSD in this machine, but SATA wasn't really a thing back then, and it's not on any of these motherboards anyway, so that's a no-go. Now on to miscellaneous PCI cards, and you can see my camera cable on the floor there, which is brilliant. We've got this nice USB 2 expansion card. It might be nice to have some extra USB 2 ports because I don't think there's very many on the motherboard. It's also a bit bizarre because we've got this one inside. I don't know what you'd use that for. Maybe you can just stick a USB drive in there and, you know, have an extra hard drive, I don't know. Next we've got this beautiful sound card. This is a Sound Blaster Live 5.1 digital. It's a nice card. I've had it for ages and I want to use it in something. Now, admittedly this was made in 2003, so it is later than my build is aiming for. However, the actual chip was made in 97, so that's my excuse. And again, I just want to use it for something because it won't work in anything newer than XP, so what the heck else am I going to do with it? Next I've got this card which has something on it. I'm not really sure what it has on it. And I don't even know if I'm going to be networking this computer. Again, it might be something fun to play around with, but I'll have a think about it. It might just plug it in and it just explodes because of HTML5 and all the fancy stuff you can do these days. And finally, here's just another card I might have fun experimenting with and playing around with. This is a Firewire expansion card, also known as i1394. More of a Mac thing. I was about to say back in the day, but it's never not been a Mac thing, really. If I can plug my Mac into this computer, then that might be interesting, just to have them talk to each other and see what I can do with that. So, just a thing that I can leave in there, set it and forget it, and if I end up having some sort of Firewire peripheral, then I can use it and have some fun with it. And there's 3 slots on there because, you know, I'm ever going to use all 3. Finding the drivers might be tricky, I will just say that. Just quickly look at the disk drives. I'm not... I want to keep the disk drive slow because some games might have trouble with like 52 speed disk drives. They were more of an XP era thing. So I'm not sure how fast these ones are actually. There's a DVD-ROM drive and an old standard CD drive. I'm going to plug both in because A, it's useful having 2 different disk drives, and B, I've not got anything to fill in the slot otherwise, so even if I don't connect it, it's just going to be in the front anyway, just to fill in the hole. Here's the disk drive. It's got an interesting aesthetic to it. And yeah, both were made in 2001, which is, again, the era I'm going for. So let's get on with flipping building it, shall we? Here's the case I'm going to use. It's, again, one that I received. And it's cool, it's got a bit of a futuristic look to it. Needs a bit of a clean, but we'll worry about that later. It's also got a Windows XP code on the side. And yeah, we're just going to pop it open. Let's have a look and see what sort of space we've got in here. And oh boy, is it dusty in there. It's nice and spacious though, and we've already got a PSU in there. So let's just get on with putting everything inside. Start off, we'll just give it a bit of a blowout, of course, because again, it is very dusty. This thing hasn't been used in about, I don't know, at least 10 years, if not more. So we're just got to really get all that dust out, and then, well, unscrewing the side panel so we can get the front off. We need to do this to get the disk drives out because they're not screwed in. They've actually got these funny little toolless things, just blowing out the fan slot and getting rid of as much dust as possible. So instead of unscrewing them, we've got these funny things on the side, and I'll just show these in a second. Taking out these somewhat newer disk drives and replacing them with the ones that I've got. So you clip these metal things onto the side of the disk drive. One goes on each side, and then it just slides in, and you saw me taking them out. You've got to just sort of pinch it to get them out. And then they get covered up by the front panel, so it's all well and good. Again, just slot in the metal caddy things on the side, and then it just goes in. But I'm not going to put them in yet, because I'll sort out my motherboard first. Again, just giving it a bit of a blowout. Make sure all the I/O is clean, so we have no trouble there. And you can see the frost developing on the end of my compressed air can there. Herein goes the Pentium 4, and it's quite a simple thing. It's pretty similar to what we have these days with the 0 insertion 4 stuff, and you just line up where the arrow goes in the corner there. You can probably see it on the plastic. And there we go, that's the Pentium 4 installed. So we just need to put on the heatsink now, and yes, I have put on some thermal paste, don't worry about that. This is a very interesting heatsink because it's really hard to get on, as heatsinks often are. It's got this weird clamp that goes on the top, and once you've got it in place, as took me quite a while, you just sort of fold these things up, and it looks like it's coming loose, but once you've got them in place, that thing ain't moving. So that's all in place now, that's good. We've got the CPU fan plugged in. Jobs are good. So now let's bring the case back, put in the motherboard, and this is just a simple case of screwing it in, you know, as with modern computers really, not a whole lot has changed. Just trying to line it up here with the I/O shield in the back. And of course, always remember to put your I/O shield in first. Screwing it in, the principles pretty much are the same as they are now. Just screw them into the correct hole so that it doesn't short circuit, and now I can insert my MX200. So in it goes. And I often have this problem where the bracket doesn't quite line up with the back of the computer, but whatever, we're just going to screw it in, and hopefully it won't cause any problems. And I will say this screwdriver doesn't have a lot of torque on it, so expect a lot of these very, very difficult to watch screwing in clips. Just remove the rest of the back ports so we can put in all our extra PCI cards. Come on, out you come. Just remove them and make sure I keep them safe because I've not got any spares. And in goes the USB 2 card. Just slot that in there nicely. Again, much the same as you would in a modern PC. In goes the sound blaster. Clunk click every trip. Make sure that's firmly in there, and we've also got our Firewire card, which wouldn't go in to start with, and I was a bit puzzled by this, so turns out there was just a bit of something in the lane, so after that it still struggled to go in, but we got there eventually. There we are. Now it's just a case of screwing them in. There we go. In goes one. In goes two. And in goes three. And there we are, they're all nice and secure in there now. Beautiful. So it's looking pretty good so far. I don't know what this is all about, but apparently I've got a disk drive here. Yeah. Commentary after the fact, it's sometimes can be difficult. So here we are, just plugging in all the power stuff into the motherboard and making sure everything's ship-shape. We've got a lot of cables cutting across there. Hopefully we can do a bit of cable management. Plugging in the floppy disk drive and the two optical disk drives into power. We'll plug in the IDE cables later on because ideally you want to do them last, because otherwise the cable is just going to get in the way of everything you're doing, and that's no fun. Now here's the hard drive caddy, and this is rather an awkward thing. Took me a while to actually get the hard drive to go in properly, as you'll no doubt discover. I've got my better screwdriver this time, but you've got to have it in a very, very specific place, and it can't be resting on the bottom of the caddy, and it can't be resting on, well, it can't be resting on anything really. It's just awkward to put in. So I had to take it out and put it in, and take it out and put it in a bunch of times. We got there eventually. But it's just one of them things. You sometimes find this, and this is well before we had nice toolless cases. And as you can see, I managed to put it in backwards. So here we go, just readjusted it and making sure I film it properly so that I know what I'm doing next time. And that just slots in there nicely. Go on, give it a good slap. There we are. And of course, make sure it's screwed in. There is space for two hard drives on there, so I could actually have an extra hard drive if I wanted. Plug in the power to the hard drive. There are no jumpers on it, hopefully that won't cause a problem. These Molex connectors are surprisingly difficult to get in and even harder to get out. But ideally once they're in you won't be taking them out again. And look at those cables, aren't they beautiful? So here we go, some IDE ribbon cables. And I'm so glad they got rid of these in favour of just normal SATA cables that are thin and easily manageable, because these things are just so unwieldy and very difficult to use. And in goes the hard drive. Not really much more to say on that regard, I'm just plugging in a hard drive and knocking it out of shot. That's brilliant. And same treatment goes to the disk drives. I've used a splitter cable here, so it's got multiple connections along the cable, so I can plug it all into one IDE slot. Now this is an audio cable, and this will go from my CD-ROM drive to my Sound Blaster. That's so that if for some crazy reason, if I wanted to put a CD in my 98 computer as opposed to my modern computer with actual decent speakers, then it'll play out of the Sound Blaster rather than out of whatever internal audio it's got. Because it does have a headphone slot on the front, I don't know if you noticed that before. Disk drives often had. I'm not sure where to put this white thing. Hopefully it doesn't need to go anywhere. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. And this is the least fun part, and something that really ought to have changed by now in modern computer building. Plugging in these front panel things. These are so desperately annoying. And the worst part is, this power LED thing, it crosses 3 slots, but there are only 2 pins for it on the motherboard. Anyway, that's all gone together now, so hopefully once we turn it on, it'll all be ship shape. And we'll just put the side panel back on here and go and see if it works. Time to see if it even starts up. Hold on. Might help if I do that first. Ooh. Memory size decrease. That makes sense, there was a gigabyte in there before. Ah! BIOS! Okay, this is good. Screen is really flipping bright. Let me zoom in for you. It's not going to be pleasant to look at because of the old flickering, but there's not anything anybody can do about that. Right. Let's see what we can do. PCI, yeah, whatever. Boot. Plug and play OS, that's good. Yeah, we've got all that crap. Audio, that's a good idea to enable that. Write protect now, we don't need that on. Event log. Oh wow. Yeah, it goes back to 2008, which is a bit bizarre, but you'd think it'd be a bit longer. Since this computer, it's actually got a Windows XP code there, so it must have been made in about 2001. Okay, everything seems nominal. Obviously means I've put the old thermal paste on properly. No password, that's good. Silent boot. Well, we don't want that on because that's boring. Seems to be no way to. I'm just going to turn the brightness down. I'll do the degauss as well because it's fun. Brightness is super high. Doesn't seem to be a way to underclock the old processor there, so I may have to look into ways of doing that. But if not, then we'll just have to suffer. Let's see what happens if I just leave it to boot. Okay, it's found the GeForce MX200. Yes, reboot and select proper boot device. So the hard drive's clearly not got anything on it, and Kato is yowling at the door. Better logo and letter in. Okay, let's install something. Oops. There we go. Brilliant. Right, okay, let's hello. That's a bit of a worry. The disk drive doesn't seem to want to open. Also, there's no reboot button on this machine, so that might make things a bit tricky. Well, let's just turn it off. Oh, just pressing it. Okay. Oh. What? Ah, there we go. Right. Right, I've swapped the cable out with one that looks a bit more like this. No, not that. Oh, nothing like that actually. That may be the one I took out. One that looks nothing like this, because you can see this one doesn't have any notches on the actual ports there. And the one that I put in does. So it may be just because I had the IDE cables the wrong way around. So let's have a go. See what happens this time. And I'll go into BIOS again. Well, the disk drives are starting up, that's good. Currently entering BIOS when it's quite ready. It's trying to enter BIOS. Good grief. Alright, what happens if I don't enter BIOS? What then? Well, I'm going to try putting in Windows 98 and see what happens. Because it might be trying its hardest to boot to the hard drive and there's nothing on the hard drive that it can see, so it's just hanging. Right, well, the DVD-ROM drive actually wasn't plugged in and I've forgotten that I hadn't plugged it in. So, it's now plugged in. Don't know why it was opening up if it wasn't plugged in. Let's see if I can open this without cutting it. Oh, oh, oh! We have more words. Oh, oh! Hello there. Oh. It'd appear we have ourselves a boot loop. I need to catch what it says when it flickers on. Because it says something and it might be important. It said something about the CD-ROM. Actually, why don't we put it into BIOS, then it doesn't boot loop. Where? IDE. Okay! Now I know what the problem is. Can I change this to a primary IDE master, primary IDE slave? So, I didn't actually put any jumpers on my hard drive because I didn't think it'd need them, given that it's the main drive and all. In fact, the only hard drive in there, so you'd think it'd assume, oh, it must be a master, this one, by the way. Unsealing. Ah. Ping. Apparently I can change it from within the BIOS. Ah! Oh. Okay, that was no good. Well, maybe it's like an OS thing. Because I believe Windows XP was on here to begin with. So it might just be because of that. Anyway, let's... Look at that brand new disc. Windows 98 2nd edition for PCs without Windows. Let's plop that in there. I'll need the disc. And right, I do believe... Yeah, I accept the license agreement. Why is this thing so big when it's only got... You know, I've never been very good at... Don't tell me it just come off. Here's me cutting it and it just comes off. I thought it was going to tear. Well, I better finish off what I started. Obviously somebody didn't lick it enough in the factory. There we go. One boot disc. Right. Right, that is some... First boot device wants... Oh, it can only be the DVD. Okay. Give me my disc back, please. Better do it through the DVD drive. I believe that one's the master. And I haven't fiddled with the jumpers on that, so that probably makes sense. I don't care anyway. Disc drives, don't matter. So the DVD is the boot drive. Probably want that to be floppy and... oh. We'll see what happens. So, there's an exit. Go. Houston, we are go for liftoff. Go on. Oh. Things are kicking in. Oh, no. Ah! Oh, this is going to bring back memories. Well, clearly my PSU is working. How can there be an error in my config sys? Hopefully it didn't cause any problems. It does say that... oh, it's gone. It has... oh, right. Oh, yeah. Configure first hard disk, please. I would like to configure my... oh. I don't think I need to worry about that. I think it was in my dad's old computer, not my old dad's computer, though either would work. So everything necessary is off there, and if it's not, then I don't care. So, enable large disk support, please. Okay. Restart my computer, go for it. I hope to goodness that it boots into the correct thing, because I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh, yeah, Windows 98 setup, mate, do you fine. Yeah, because I remember once, I think it was either Windows, it must have been XP that I was installing, and I managed to install it and then install it again because I booted it from the CD-ROM by accident after it had done installing. But I wasn't it was sort of halfway through, you know, when it gets to, oh, expanding files, and then it reboots. And I'm never sure what to do at that point. Anyway, let's hope that this... hey, there we go, I was right. And now we play the waiting game. At 99%. It's been at this for a good long while. So, hopefully the drive isn't bust. There it is. Setup is now preparing to install Windows. Do your routine check. Oh yeah, scan disk, yeah! Wow, it's very quick now. Oh! Oh, whoa, whoa. Packed file is corrupt. Ugh. Have I got a dud boot disk or something? Push comes to shove, I may need to make my own boot disk. Alright, I have a new boot disk. Which kind of makes me sad. Because, you know, this is the actual boot disk, but, you know, must just be because it's really old and never been used. Just one of those things. So let's see what happens now. Alright. Well, I've got the right disc, that's one thing. Hopefully I've done the right kind of disc. Okay. the heck's going on now? Alright. Okay, good. That was weird. I needed to open setup manually with DOS. Very strange. Copy them files, come on. Fix it, Felix! Right. Oh, no. Packed file is corrupt. Alright, I've got my own CD. Got my own floppy disk. Needn't have even opened this box. I'm a silly man. Right. Come on. Oh, right, let's see if this works. This case really needs a clean. Okay. Yep, do your routine check. Yeah, fix it. Fix it, Felix. Fix it. It is now the next day. And I have had I've done some research and supposedly I've got a solution here. Right, so if I go on C, right, setup is there, so theoretically. Nope. Doesn't like that, okay. Maybe I need to run the setup from the disk, but since the files are already on the drive, then that'll be okay. Because that's what I've done, I've copied all the files from the disk onto the drive, which supposedly is what the setup is trying to do, but it keeps getting stuck because of this RAM thing. There's a problem with the RAM. Well, there's not a problem with the RAM per se. It's a problem with loading things in the RAM. And it's something that I can't seem to get around. So, this is the apparent solution. Just to manually do it and hope for the best. If this doesn't work, then no idea what to do. So if I go on E, setup. Yeah, do your routine check. You're gonna find, oh, there's files. There were? Okay. No, we don't need to undo this, we're right. Okay, directory structure, yeah, there's a lot of files on there. Please don't delete them, that'll cause problems. Means we're back at square one. Free space should be fine because I literally formatted it like 5 minutes ago. Right, I don't need to... It's still trying to copy the files. Files are all on there. Don't need to. It's not necessary. Not. Oh boy. I mean, this is an option. Could try this. It's only an upgrade, but I hope it'll work. I mean, it should work. I think all the discs are the same. It's just the license. And, I mean, it's 95. Who the hell cares? Now, does this one have a... This one doesn't have a boot disc with it, so maybe this is just a bootable CD-ROM. We'll try it anyway. Right. And then maybe from 95 you can install 98 within Windows, so maybe it'll have a better time of it. I don't know. Invalid system disk. Okay, that's brilliant. Flipping hell. There we go. That better? Why is the driver called Banana? It was called MSC001 before. Why is it on RNS? Tell me to play RuneScape or something. Alright. Set up. Yeah. Do that. Goddamn. What? Hey? This version of blah 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 blah. No, that'll be right. Still gets jammed. We are finally in. It was the hard drive. We have replaced the hard drive. I have enlisted the help of a friend, so this hard drive is a dud. So we have now replaced it with a much better hard drive. Obviously much better because Windows 98 setup is now fully alive and awake. Let's do this damn thing. There we go. I'm totally reading this. Oh, I've still not plugged in my mouse. God damn it. Yes, I accept the agreement, thank you. Yeah, I'm totally reading it. Product key. Product key is in. Yes, I would like to install it in Windows. That's a good idea. I would have said. So I think it was a mix between having a proper... Oh god, who's spat on my screen? Yeah, good. It was a mix between using the loadfix.com file and replacing the hard drive. And also using my custom boot disk, which had all sorts of utilities and crap on it. So, yeah, typical. Install the most common component. Yeah, that'll do. Yes. Yeah. Complete description. I guess that'll do. I can change that later. I'm not in the United States. I'm in the United Kingdom. Create a startup disk. God damn, I need a blank floppy. Okay. Label a disk, Windows 98 startup disk. Okay. Hope there's nothing important on that disk. Oh, thank you. You've created my startup disk. Wonderful. I'm going to forget that's even a thing. It's got my old RuneScape details on the front of the disk, but I've tried to tear it off and it's not really worked. That's because I put a RuneScape client on that disk and played it at my granddad's and then ran up his phone bill massively. Didn't realise he had dial-up. Or did I? Ah. We're finally... Well, we're not out of the hole yet. I reserve judgment until we're actually running it. But I shall be hopeful. I shall be sure to register my copy of Windows 98. Thing is, this thing isn't going to be connected to the internet. Now, do I boot it from disk, or do I just let it boot whatever it wants? Because I'm assuming boot from the hard drive now? I don't know. We'll just let it do its thing. Yeah, try booting from that floppy, there's nothing in there now. Hey! Still no mouse plugged in. Probably should plug that in, actually, thinking about it. Set up that hardware, finalise them settings. We've still got the wonderful transferring of drivers over on some sort of medium, which is going to be fun. Don't know how I'm going to do that without burning about 1 million CDs. Let's Time zone. We're not in Tijuana. We're not in Saskatchewan or Santiago. We are in London. Not really. Is it really 5:45 already? No, it's not. It's 3:25. Come on, Windows, get your act together. Windows help. Got through them quick, didn't it? Update them settings. Drum. That's what it's doing. It's doing the drum. Drum. Rum-pa-pum-pa-pum. A bit like David Bowie. The juxtaposition between what's on this screen and what's on that screen is quite incredible. I don't need no password. Okay, it's found my monitor. Good stuff. Yeah, I've got a monitor. That's good. I'm not going to find it on the floppy disk, are you? Find it on the CD-ROM. Yeah, you found a monitor. Good stuff. We have no audio yet because we don't have the sound card installed, but I have a ton of drivers on the computer which is currently in use by my friend who is trying his best to play Assetto Corsa with a steering wheel and failing miserably. Right. We have Windows. Can I have my disk back, please? My God, this is... Oh, now it gives me it back. Thank you. I appreciate this. My God, it is so bright. I need to knock the brightness down just a bit. Yeah, search for the best driver. Yeah, USB store. That's what I want. SanDisk Cruiser Blade. USB disk. Didn't identify that it was blue, but that's fine, I guess. Removable disk F. Here we go. So, I shall copy drivers and software over to my documents. Come on. Or my document, because it won't fit on the 640 by 480. Okay, drivers are on. We'll do motherboard first. I think that's the wisest. Oh God, I don't know which one's which. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Nice PC speaker set. It's a PC speaker, but I've not plugged the PC speaker in. It's a bit strange, isn't it? Yeah, that'll do. Wow. Why can't it install the help stuff first? Yeah, restart that computer. Hey, look at the colours, look at the resolution. The system tray is filling up. Okay, final thing. Let's have some audio. I'm using the KX project drivers because they're open source, and open source is awesome. KX for the chipset on my Sound Blaster. Yep, that'll do. Internet Explorer? No! And then reboot. Not much in the way of audio there. It's a bit of a worry. Maybe I'll actually have to have the official driver. Oh, it wants a newer version of Windows, but it says Windows 98. Ugh. Okay, I shall have to source that driver elsewhere. I didn't like that one. Stereo speakers, they're pretty close together. Sounds like a vacuum cleaner. Smooth. Alright. Sweet. Shall we try some games? Let's have... Oh, there's Windows 98 themes on here. Now we're talking. Ha! Again, I'll sort that out after. Aptiva. Yeah, software. That's what I want.
scroll that over. That's a lot quicker. That is a lot quicker now. Installing the USB 2 drivers really did help. DirectX 9C. Type the location. Temp. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, that's DirectX. Normally, it hanging this long means it's given up. Everything seems okay. Oh, okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, unofficial Windows 98 2nd Edition Service Pack 3. Fonts! That's the most important part. Let's read through all this. Comic Sans! So this was actually last updated this year, so Windows 98 is totally up to date now. Space Invaders. One would hope that everything is shipshape. Right, here comes the acid test. Hardware renderer, GeForce 2. Right, maybe this isn't the best acid test because I don't think it's terribly consistent how it runs, but we'll see how it goes. We don't need to see the intro. So far so good. Have it. Skill level expert, please. Thank you. Don't know what that actually does to the gameplay. Oh yeah! Controls. Hold on. The controls are insane on this game. Comma and period. Left and right. Is that not good enough? Special, comma space. No, special, comma shift. Okay, that's good. Let's try that again. It's really dark. Oops. This is sweet. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's that tested. That works perfectly. I like that a lot. Here's something I'd rather like to try because this doesn't work at all on modern operating systems. So I'm curious to see how it works on this. It's kind of why I built it for stuff like this. That doesn't work on modern stuff, but it didn't work on my Aptiva either. It's one of those crazy in-the-middle games, you know, because DOSBox will do you fine for obviously DOS games and some Windows 3.1 games. Compatibility mode will do you fine for anything 2000 onwards. Everything in the middle is kind of in limbo. I love this. CD install and 0 kilobytes required, which is kind of funny. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to be playing it on the internet. Hell, neither is anybody else, so I'd have a terrible time. Run V2000, please. Oh. Scary. Very scary stuff. Alright. Well, the audio's a bit all over the place, but it's pretty smooth. Display. Oh yes, good audio, isn't it? Ooh. turn that resolution up. Hell yeah. When you're filtering, we can do without that. I don't think it makes that much of a difference anyway. Alright, good stuff. Start game. Ah! World's worth blah 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 blah. Good stuff. Oh, that's sweet. Well, I'll probably have to read the controls or something. As of now, just going to shoot some spiders. Yeah! Well, anyway, that works. One more game, I think. Very smart. I'm very happy with that. English, please. Yeah, 210 megabytes. Whew. Yeah, install DirectX Media. I think it's already been installed by something else, but go for it. Yeah. Alright. Look how this is. Oh, whoa! Ha! Classic unskippable cutscene, that's what we like. Yeah, we can skip these bits though. Don't need to see all these Lego races racing the Legos. Turn it down a bit. Yeah, video options. Wow! Such a bevy of options. Oh boy. Let's do Magnum Moon Marathon. The turbocharger because he's asleep. Must be a pretty good racer if you can sleep while racing. That is smooth as butter. Okay, I didn't time that right. Oh. And I'm about to make this shortcut totally pointless, but I'm doing it anyway. What was it? Blue, blue. Hooray! I am the best. Might as well finish it off now. Truly, I am the greatest Lego racer to have ever lived. Quite fancy the idea of doing a project of revoicing all the terrible voice acting in the game, because there's quite a bit of it. The one I always distinctly remember is the Australian guy in the bar. He's got a really bad Australian accent in mind, and it's so bloody over the top. It's just really hard to listen to, isn't it? So you're talking to him, and he's got quite a lot to say, and he's got some pretty poignant notes, you know. And you're just thinking, oh man, I want to listen to what you're saying, but you got your voice. It's just bloody grating, isn't it? Deus Ex. Direct 3D support, yes. And Lumi. Yes, you've got the old GeForce 2 MX200 there. Never heard that noise. Oh. Oh, it's not happy. Can't install while in use. Yes, end task. No, don't install anything, I didn't ask you to. Stop it. Naughty. Deus Ex. Run Deus Ex. Oh god, the lag. Yeah. Start. Ooh. I'm gonna be honest, I kinda didn't really expect it anyway. Again, it might work better if I'd update it to the latest patch, but whatever. I didn't build this machine to play Deus Ex. Still playing the music though. Micro machines. I'm just installing a bunch of games and then we're going to play them. And I'm going to cut it together so you don't know that this is actually happening in the sequence that it is. It's all going to be magic. The magic of video editing. Yeah, it's in drive D. Oh, one instead of mine. Is there no autoplay? Oh, what a con. Pure gameplay, okay. Say so. So this was when I was with a friend out. He told me I should pick this up. We saw it, so I said okay, and I haven't been able to play it since. So this hopefully will be. Oh yeah. Well, this is a lot more positive. One player, please. Oh, brilliant!
You're right, man.
I like how he just says nothing.
You're right, man.
Oh God.
Hi there.
Oh God.
Hey, dude.
These characters are creepy.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello! Hello there, love. Let's just be this guy because he doesn't talk. Go for it. Hello? Yeah, you. No? Oh, what? Yeah, okay. No, don't save the character, I just want to play. Menu's quite entertaining, I like that. It's a good start. Oh yeah, this... Press fire? Should I be using my quick shot right now? Come on, Comic Sans. Okay. Which one's mine? Well, that's just flipping fantastic. How about you tell me... Why don't you kick me in the arse too? Shift? Shift to go backwards? It's caps lock? What are these controls? Caps lock, caps lock, caps lock, caps lock. You know what? I'll do that another time and actually sort the controls out, but at least we know it works. Just like to demonstrate one final game for one of my viewers on Twitch who was a little bit sceptical, shall we say. And that is... Can you read that? Whatever. You'll find out shortly what it is. Now it looks like Doom, and that's because it is Doom, but it's not just Doom, it is in fact. Is there any way to actually verify this? No, that's just how many. You know what? I'll just show you. Ready for this? Yes, this is in fact GZ Doom. One of the earlier versions, I believe it's 1.6, I will check for you then. And yeah, GZ Doom running perfectly under Windows 98. I'll just turn it down so you can actually hear what I'm saying. How about that, eh? WASD, mouse, it's all good stuff. Oh. How long has that opened now? Since when has this been a thing? You can just skip the level. I had no idea that was a thing. Oh, the joys you have. That should be 2 secrets, surely. But yeah, smooth as butter. The only thing is the screen effect does tend to be a bit slow, but whatever. It's an MX200, I'm not expecting miracles here. That should dispel any doubts you may have. Well, there we are. That's my 98 build. It's great. Works really goddamn well and I'm very happy with it. And now it's time to shut it down. So there we have it. A brand new year 2000 gaming PC. It's been a fun little experiment and I've enjoyed building it. It's been a little bit different to making a modern computer, but not too much. And there's been some hair pulling and some tears, but in the end it's come out pretty damn good and I'm very, very happy with it. Happy with the performance, I'm happy with how it looks, I'm happy with how it runs. It's just great. And better still, I've got an S-video cable and an S-video output, so hopefully that means we can use it on the channel as well. So we can get back to some proper old-fashioned retro gaming. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this journey, and if you're still watching after this hour of me sitting in front of my computer trying to get it to work, then thank you very much. And look forward to more cool stuff concerning this machine on the channel in the future. Until then, cheerio. Gosh, this really is a long demo, isn't it? Why not show us the whole game? Man, the AI sucks in this, doesn't it? If you can't get in first place within the first few seconds, then you're doing it wrong.